Hello, leader. Happy New Year. And if you didn't already know it, my birthday is on New Year's Day. And I want to thank everyone who reached out to wish me well. And bravo to you and your team as you step into 2026. You've come a long way. You've overcome obstacles. You've had moments of trouble and you've had moments of triumph. And you were there together for all of it. Now, I know it's hard to be a leader, especially when things get a little dicey. And then you add into the mix the fact that you have a home life, and that can be a lot to juggle. Many of my clients tell me that years blend into one another in their business because their heads are so often down, working deep in the business. They don't often lift up their head, so they can't see what's coming around the corner until it hits them smack in the face. Ouch! And they'd like to change that. So one of the first things that we do when they join the Leadership Lab is we have a look at their time and specifically how many meetings they've got locked into their calendar. We take a hard look at the realities of how much time they're spending attending meetings, leading meetings, and following up on meetings. And then we make some decisions. So today we're going to talk about a meeting that we never cut or restructure or hand off to someone else to lead. Nope. The specific meeting that we're highlighting today is the New Year kickoff meeting, which starts a brand new year in such a way that takes advantage of the moment, the fresh start, the anticipation of what's to come, and sets your entire team up for success. Now, I get it. Meetings are not the most glamorous of topics, but you can't run a team without them. And my clients will tell you that since they've restructured their meetings, removed themselves from some meetings, and kicked off each year with this specific meeting that we're going to talk about today, things definitely turned around for them and their team. All right, let's jump in. And by the way, we're welcoming new members into the Leadership Lab right now. Apply today with the links in the show notes or pop over to the Stacking Your Team website. 2026 could be the year that things really move forward in the right direction for you. Welcome to the Stacking Your Team podcast, smart leadership for women who mean business. I'm Shelli Warren, your team and leadership coach, and your no-fluff guide to building a powerhouse team that actually gets the job done without you holding their hand every 5 minutes. You're not just a business owner, you're the leader now, and I'll help you step up, lead smart, and stop micromanaging. Stick with me and you'll learn how to hire, fire, and inspire a team you lead with confidence and finally get your night and weekends back. And here's the hard truth. The team that got you here may not be the team that gets you there. So let's trade burnout for bold leadership and stack your team. So what is this meeting that's going to be the most important one you host this year? Now, I'm sure some of you are getting ready to roll your eyes and huff a bit because you dislike meetings. But successful CEOs know that hosting a meeting is a privilege. Every meeting that is on a drumbeat in your business requires your team to stop doing what they need to do and instead pull their attention over to whomever is leading the meeting and their peers who've also joined. You expect them to engage in meetings and show up for each one because that's what professionals do. And many of the members of the Leadership Lab are no longer attending a multitude of meetings. Instead, they've built a leadership team that leads the majority of the meetings, and that is definitely a key responsibility for them in those leadership roles. But this particular meeting that we're talking about today will be led by you. That's right. You, the CEO. You will not delegate this to anyone else, even if you really want to. Here's why. Your team needs to see your face, hear your voice, and see you show up for them. It's simply not good enough to phone this in or have someone else do all the preparation and be complacent about this time of year. The current world events literally have people on your team thinking about other employment opportunities that are available to them. Now, you know that on the podcast, we've been talking a lot about the Great Resignation and the seriousness of it. It's impacting hiring, profits, growth, and team culture for the CEOs of big organizations, and it's having the same disruption for you, that small business owner who also needs a team of competent and happy team members who enjoy what they do and who feel valued every day. This meeting is another chance for you to connect with your team in a true servant leadership style by showing up for them with the intention and then the follow-through to share key messages that will undoubtedly help your team decide to stay or go. So if you're ready to host the most important team meeting of the year, keep listening. And I know you can do this. Let's crack open the idea by setting some intentions, and then we'll get into the details of what this meeting would include and how you'd be sure to make it meaningful. Starting with this. I think we can all agree that the best meetings are the ones that feel like time well spent and where stuff gets done. Both of these can happen when there is an intention for the meeting and some structure that keeps the conversations on track and keeps track of time too. There are 3 intentions for this particular meeting, and here they are: to motivate, educate, and communicate in a meaningful way. I invite you to think about designing your meeting to include these things. 1, reinforcing your appreciation for your team. And 2, share pertinent information with them that will confirm their commitment to the business because you're inviting them into a story where they can clearly see where they will fit into it. You'll share information about the health of the business and paint a picture of what they can expect this coming year. If they don't see themselves in your vision for the year, they'll not be committed to it, feel undervalued, and then they will begin to get their ducks in a row to look elsewhere for a place they belong. In the Leadership Lab, the members are learning how to ensure any time that they're rolling out significant news that they prepare their communications with a slant on what's in it for them. After all, anytime we're introducing a new policy, a new program, new expectations, or a new project, as humans, we all ratchet quickly in our minds to think, what's in it for me? And how will this affect me? So why not face that head on and anticipate this mindset with your team? Now, in thinking about intention 1, motivation. I know many of you have shown your appreciation to your team recently with the holiday gatherings, both formal and informal. I've seen the photos that capture the moments online. Many of you have provided incredible gifts, even bonuses. These actions don't go unnoticed by your team, and they do appreciate them. I'm still excited to receive my holiday gift box from my former employer, that Fortune 50 corporation. And as a retiree, for more than 7 years now, I still receive a special delivery box full of new products to try out, and there's always some sort of larger gift that holds the products, like an overnight bag or a picnic basket or a suitcase. It's a lifelong commitment they make to their employees and their retirees as a way to say thank you for your contribution. Yes, they can absolutely afford to do this for the hundreds of thousands of employees they have. And yes, it's strategic for sure. And it works because that corporation is all about brand loyalty, and they know how to do it really, really well. The members of the Leadership Lab have gone all out this past holiday season too. They love to show appreciation to their team in fun ways that build camaraderie and add to the joy of the season. So yes, you've all done a fabulous job of marking the year end and the holiday season with your team, but what I'm talking about here is something a little bit different. Here's what I mean, and it's tied directly to intention number 2, educate. As the CEO, a new year requires you to reinforce and educate your team on how their contributions have impacted the business. You can do this by showcasing a year in review, a before and after picture that highlights key results and allows the team to reminisce a bit on the highs and the lows, the pivots, the triumphs, and the transformations that they've sparked with your clients. A simple visual showing the stats, the circumstances, and the change in outcomes can be very worthwhile. Now, your team lived it. So when you have them revisit the past year, do it through storytelling. Consider showing your team what happened this past year by splitting the story up into mini stories using the 4 Ps. Purpose, people, processes, and profit. Here are some storylines that you could consider telling as you break them up into those 4 Ps. How about this? Something you've noticed about how your clients were served. Maybe you introduced a new service or a new method to deliver the service. Or maybe you formed some new partnerships that are now feeding your client pipeline, and that's created an even more refined section of your niche to come forward who's interested in buying your services. You could also tell a story of how this past year your wait list was addressed, including if you saw a change in what your clients were asking for. Now, you've heard me mention here on the podcast often that data mining in your own waitlist will tell you all you need to know about how to position your business, and you want to reinforce this with your team. Talk about the changes to your team structure with people leaving or people onboarding, promotions, ideas and suggestions that were launched based on ideas that came from your team. Share the results and ways in which the team overcame challenges with these changes. And don't forget to talk about your best sellers. What sparked the interest in this service, and highlighting a few testimonials would be great too. Sometimes your team are so close to the daily operations, like keeping their heads down, doing the work, that they don't have time or the headspace to look at the data. So telling the team about the services that were popular and the services that were not, or a significant reduction in those sales, is also great information for the team to have. And what about any new automation that was introduced, making their jobs easier? And be sure to tell a few stories about key projects that were completed and describe the differences those projects have made in how you're delivering your services and operating on a daily basis. So here's the thing. You've heard me mention here in the podcast many times before that one of the biggest strengths that high-performing teams have is that people have learned to stop thinking like employees and started thinking like business owners. This mindset can be taught, and it's contagious when people see that their leader appreciates their curiosity to learn more about how the business runs, asks compelling questions, and shares the rational thinking with ideas and suggestions for improvement. When you stretch the mindset of your team by sharing data points with them that they can start to make informed decisions and visualize how they can end constraints, introduce innovation, and streamline how work gets done, you'll help them truly leave their stamp on the business, which always feels worthwhile and encourages them to stay at this level of contribution, continuing to add more and more value each and every day. This ideal work culture starts with a leader who people trust and a leader who wants to show up for their team, willing to facilitate deeper conversations that motivate, educate, and communicate in such a way that always tells a story based on facts, data, and optimism. Facts to dispel gossip and speculation. Data to accelerate their understanding of what it takes for the business to keep its doors open. And optimism, because an atmosphere that reinforces growth mindset versus fixed mindset motivates people and helps to cut the negativity that can sometimes seep into your workplace. Now, I get it. Hosting this kind of year-end review and New Year kickoff meeting can feel a bit daunting, and I know that some of you will find this overwhelming and totally out of your wheelhouse. But you can do hard things. Your team needs you to host and lead this meeting. They need to see you in your role as CEO, casting your vision and demonstrating your commitment to them, the work, and the impact you'll all have with your clients. When leaders can encourage, reinforce, and enable their teams to work smarter, not harder, and to collaborate with each other, you are fostering an environment where everyone feels proud of what you're making happen. And people can literally feel unstoppable. After all, who doesn't want to work somewhere that everyone is on a mission to make something wonderful? So what will you do today to apply what you just learned here on the podcast about hosting a year-end review and a New Year kickoff meeting with your team? Here's a suggestion. Get out your calendar and plan to host this meeting in Q1, beginning with your intentions of motivating, educating and communicating in such a way that the outcomes are 1, the team is motivated for this brand new year because you are openly appreciating their contributions of last year. And 2, the team better understands the health of the business and what to expect this year because you shared pertinent information that invites them into a story that they can clearly see where they're going to fit in and belong. Now, keep in mind the what's in it for me question that you'll want to weave into your message and come at this very important meeting from a stance that you're doing this to serve your team and entice them to stay and contribute at their highest value that you know they're capable of. A few other things to remember as you are crafting this incredible team meeting. You will tell them how you personally are going to show up looking like help to them this year and what support will be provided to them from their leadership team members. And you'll close out your meeting with an open call for a peer-to-peer appreciation shout-out exercise and then open the floor for some Q&A. You're going to be creating momentum and confirming trust with your team. After all, people want to work alongside leaders who know where they're going and who invite their team to join them. If today's episode helps you see your leadership in a new way, I'd love to hear about it. Come connect with me on Instagram, where I'm at Stacking Your Team, and tell me what's troubling you about your team right now. And hey, if you're tuning into this podcast because you work somewhere and you want to develop your leadership skills, I invite you to start following our sister company, Thousand Islands Leadership Consulting. Check us out on Instagram or LinkedIn so you can chart your course to the next level of leadership.
This is Ellie. Come back next Tuesday. My Mimi will have another episode for you.